dvaitamūlamaho duḥkhaṃ nānyattasyā'sti bheṣajam dṛśyametanmṛṣā sarvameko'haṃ cidraso'malaḥ.
Oh, the root of all misery is the sense of duality. There is no other remedy for this misery except the realization that all visible objects of experience are unreal, and that I am the non-dual pure consciousness bliss. Chinmaya's short commentary. Misery, pain or sorrow are all subjectively nothing but mental state of disturbances. Quieter the mind, happier the man. All miseries stem forth from the perception of duality. With the realization of one's own nature to be pure non-dual consciousness, the world of plurality will be recognized as unreal, and therefore it can no longer contribute any miseries to the man of realization. nānyattasyā'sti bheṣajam. There is no other remedy for this continuous sense of sorrow and misery at the ego plane of consciousness. Unquote. Buddha declared that desire is the root cause of suffering. Bhagavad Gita suggests that desires arise because of the activity of the senses, which in turn lead to delusion and suffering. In this verse, we learn that duality is the root cause of suffering. Although Ashtavakra seems to suggest a different cause, they all point out to the same philosophy. Ashtavakra says duality is the root cause of all misery. Buddha said desire is the root cause of all suffering. Desire comes from where? Desire arises out of duality. That is, in this way, Ashtavakra's description and Buddha's description come together. If you are the only person in the whole universe, if there is nothing else, and if you are complete in all respects, you will not desire anything because you do not need anything or you do not depend upon anything. There is no object other than you. So what will you desire in such a condition where there is nobody other than you? This nothing other than you is the state of the self or God. When that self is pushed into samsara and when it is lost in the sensory world, it becomes subject to duality and experiences raga dvesha. And this experience in spirituality is called suffering, duḥkhaṃ. Indeed, we seek things because we want to become complete. It is the yearning of the soul in a state of delusion to be complete. Unfortunately, it is not the right way to experience completeness or fulfillment, because it can never be accomplished by possessing things that are incomplete, imperfect, and unreal in themselves. We learnt this in the purpose of human birth session, which is the first subject in the blog, purpose of human birth. Duality and suffering are natural to ego consciousness, which is subject to limitations, impurities, ignorance, and desires. The self is not subject to any of them. It is one, indivisible, indestructible, free from suffering, and blissful in itself. It is important to draw the distinction between the self and the ego. Although in many descriptions both are called aham, they are not the same. The ego is the projected aham. The self is the universal, indivisible aham. Unlike the ego, consciousness, which we call the perpetual mind, is pure, transcendental, without duality and divisions. Two remedies are suggested in this verse to overcome the suffering which is caused by duality. First one is the realization that all you perceive here in the world is unreal. And the second is the knowledge that you are the one pure, blissful consciousness. The first one is the Jagat Mithyam. The second one is Brahma Satya. In this, the first remedy, the realization that whatever perceived or experienced is unreal, can stay permanently only when it goes along with the second remedy, the ultimate remedy rather, which is the realization that we are pure consciousness which is ever blissful. Why? Because unless and until you have realized that you are pure consciousness, blissful, the first remedy suggested by Ashtavakra, that all is unreal, it might as well be a temporary factor, like the Mashana or Mayana Vairagya or the Prasava Vairagya. When we are subject to suffering, we may cry out, "Oh, the world is unreal, everything here is duḥkhaṃ, duḥkhaṃ, like Buddha said. But when the suffering gets over, we may again indulge in the same world, same desires. So, the Jagat Mithyam part, the world is unreal part, may not stay forever in us as a realization till the time we have realized that Brahman is Satyam and I am that Brahman. I am Satyam. I am ever the peaceful, blissful, pure consciousness. And the beauty is that upon realizing that I am pure consciousness, spotless, as we said in the previous verse, Niranjana, once I have realized this, then there is no need for me to realize that the world is unreal, because when I am pure consciousness, then I am all. There is no world separate from me. If you say the world is there, then I would say the world is also the same light, pure consciousness. When you are one with everything, you do not seek anything. When you are empty like space, you can enter anyone's space and be one with it. This is the state of oneness which the seers aim to achieve through liberation. Hari Om Tat Sat.